think that she just gonna be sitting around looking cute and
I'm
all of that.
paranoid about
No,
my microphone.
it's fine. That's why I ain't want I ain't want Quentin to do that because I knew you was gonna be focused on it. Now you're gonna be
I I
tinkering with
I,
that shit
I,
all day.
I ain't said shit about her crackling mic for a good 2 weeks.
It sounds good. It sounds incredible.
It sounds
Anyways,
good
let me
with a
play.
little crackle, with a
Let
little
me play a
snap,
little
crackle,
bit of
pop.
It's
this.
still crackling?
It sounds like pop rocks. Yeah.
Now even now it's pop
It
rocking?
doesn't. It's fine. I'm about to play a little bit of this.
Start right now with those new developments in the manhunt happening right now for the suspect behind the killing of UnitedHealthcare's CEO. Police just released new photos and they're asking for the public's help in identifying the person seen in these photos. A senior law enforcement official says they found words written on shell casings at the scene that could be a possible message from the shooter. The killing was captured in this chilling surveillance footage Wednesday morning. Thompson was on his way to speak at an investor meeting when a man wearing a black hoodie and a ski mask fired multiple rounds from behind. Investigators say Thompson was shot at least twice in his back and in his calf. Officials also revealed the alleged shooter fled on an e-bike and rode towards Central Park. NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo joins us now with the latest. Stephen, you've been following this case since it started unfolding yesterday morning. What more do we know about the images that have now been released? And do we know when and where in the city those photos specifically were taken?
Yeah, a very important question, Morgan. We do not know right now from NYPD where those photos were taken. We do see such a clearer image of the suspected shooter's face. He's even smiling in one of them with that mask down, and that could go a long way in helping to identify who this person is. We know.
Now, that's not the thing that I really want to focus on. I just want to make sure that I bring people up to date. This is the thing that I want to focus on. Okay, this type of sentiment right here.
So, if you haven't heard already, the United Healthcare CEO has just been assassinated. And I can't really say I'm surprised, nor do I care. And some people are going to be like, oh, that's cruel, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. The reason I don't care is because these people are running billion and trillion dollar companies. And an insurance company at that I'm pretty sure has declined coverage for thousands of people. And there are thousands of people out here that have lost family members because United Healthcare declined much needed coverage for their loved ones. So the amount of blood that these billion and trillion dollar companies have on their hands is nothing compared to the fact that this man just lost his life today. And
That's so dumb.
it's sad to say, but with the state of not only this country, but the world, this will become the norm if this is not the catalyst and the tipping point right now. Because if these billion and trillion dollar companies think they can continue to lobby against the best interests of American citizens and make things more expensive and continue to treat their workers and their consumers like shit and nothing will happen, they're going to continue to fuck around and find out. And for anybody that really has any sympathy for these fucking oligarchs, you need to do some self-reflection, bro. Because these fucking oligarchs are the same individuals, regardless of the company, that are contributing to the problems within the Congo, contributing to the problems that we have here in America when it comes to lobbying. These are the individuals that are the root of all of our problems.
So the question that I then have is, because there's so much outrage, this went left, right? I never anticipated this to be what it is today. When I went
I
through and I
did.
started looking at all of the comments under all of the videos of what was going on,
Niggas
people
hate
were
that.
happy that the CEO got killed. And so I want
It's
to get y'all
so
sentiment on this whole thing and how and what the fallout of it is now that people are realizing what happened and that the dude got assassinated. Not assassinated, but it seems as though he got hit from a person that didn't necessarily like the insurance companies.
it has to be less than intelligent people who don't think for themselves, because the denial of a claim or not paying over is so far from the CEO. When your shit get denied, it's probably the fucking doctor that denied your shit. Really, you know what I mean? Like, I learned that a dude declined mine. It was like, hey, you gotta talk to the doctor and see if he changed his mind. Type of shit. It ain't got. Just on the like macro human level, like it's like he was a dad and a husband. Well, I guess he was separated, but he was a dad. So it's kind of, that's just sad.
Keri?
Well, I think that this is a classic episode of The Blacklist or one of those
Mm.
um, government type of series. As soon as I saw it, I was like, something is weird about this. Um, I don't know. I think that there's some I think that there's some sneaky stuff happening. He knew where. Okay, so first of all, the husband and the wife, they live in two separate homes. Because I thought it was funny that the wife so quickly was able to let them know that she was told from him that they had received threats before. Like it just didn't come across as she was experiencing them. It more so sounded like he told me that he was getting these calls. So that was the first thing. And then the his secure apparently there's a company that is normally used as security for him, and this company said he would the guy over the company said he was shocked that he came all the way out to New York without any security, especially given the fact that he had received these threats. And I think back in July and April in Minnesota, there were these protesters that came from Virginia, from New York, from like all these different places to protest United Healthcare with the phrases that were engraved in the bullet shells. That's what really made me think of Blacklist, because there's an episode of Blacklist where they engrave scriptures on the bullet shells for you to. So that's another story. Anyway, then you figure that he stayed in one hotel and went to the Hilton that morning really, really early. He didn't have any bags in his hand. He didn't have a briefcase or anything like that. And they said that the shooter was there a good 5 minutes before he even arrived. So to me, that says that there was some kind of internal. I can't hear you, Anton.
Oh, I'm sorry. They saying that the shooter was there all night, kind of waiting on him. They said that he had been milling around all night.
No, they said that he was there a few minutes before. Either way, though, either way, to me, he had some kind of intelligence on where this guy was going to be, in my opinion. Especially I don't know, like I just feel like you going the meeting, I think it was slated to start at like 9, something like that, and you're going over there at like 6. So here's what got me really thinking. I saw a video clip, I guess it's of the CEO of the whole company, because this guy is the CEO
He's the
of United
CEO of the
Healthcare, the
healthcare.
insurance leg,
Correct, and
right?
it's a United. It's a United Healthcare group.
Right.
Correct.
So when I saw the CEO's video, I don't know. I couldn't I didn't feel like he was
I seen it.
sad.
I
He
seen it.
he just seemed
His
real
background
like,
kind of look like yours right now.
yeah, like it just seemed like, yeah, this is a classic episode of The Blacklist. Um so
Keri about to
it
take me
was
down this bad path.
the guy had a silencer. He ran, then he had his bike, then he went into Central Park. And the one of the investigators, she said, she was like, clearly he knew what he was doing. He knew that there was not as much visual in Central Park, so he went in there. She was like, he probably changed his clothes. So I think that there's foul play somewhere. I don't think that, on one hand, I think that it could be the case that there is somebody who is an extremist who is just pissed off. And like Quentin said, they're so emotionally, driven that they're either representing the people, kind of like a Robin Hood type of a person, or
Mhm.
they were impacted. But then when I saw all the rest and the wife is not with them and the CEO, I was like, nah, I think that this is some high level. Let me pay somebody to come take care of business and, handle this guy.
Mm. Mika.
To me, it falls in line with the rest of the CEOs that have been dying. Second, a lot of the times when there is, protest and things like that going on, it's easy to get rid of people while that's going on. So you can say people are disgruntled and things like that. So now it's much more easier to plan a hit when you have disgruntled people. And then the other thing, you were just stating about him going into Central Park. I lived in New York City.
Mm.
There's cameras everywhere. It's a police state, right? And so Central Park has cameras. New York has cameras all over. It's just like LA. So that's how they were able, one, to get some of the footage anyway. So when you look at all of that, you got to think like he had some type of map plan. And then they said something about his driver. So apparently he had like a car or expedition, or one of those black cars. And like the driver apparently didn't even come, pick him up or move or something like that. And so when I look at all of that, I'm just like, yeah, more than likely it's something else going on, but they're using all the disgruntled things that are going on to kind of throw that in there. And usually that's a good cover up.
Mm. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think it's like when you get situations like this, as far as what that dude was saying, like he's basically insinuating like that you deserve what you get. I don't want to say that there's credence there, but I understand where he's kind of coming from. It's like when you playing around in the devil's playground, shit gonna get wicked. Like, and they're playing a dirty game, and I would never condone or like celebrate someone dying or getting killed in the street.
Mm-hmm.
But the game that they playing, like, then the shit that goes on, it is extremely corrupt. So to when people actually get killed from, I guess you could say the decisions that are made due to the company that they work for, or the things the company has done, it's not surprising that they get killed, or it seems like a hit. It is just they playing a real dirty game, man. Like that's some of the most slimeball activity happens in healthcare and
Banking.
the drugs in the drugs game, because they
Pharmaceutical.
gotta backstab so many people, they gotta cut so many people out, so many people get done dirty, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning anybody getting slain in the street, none of that shit, but these people are definitely playing a dirty game. They are
Mm.
their hands aren't clean, especially
Right, but
when you
he's
that.
the CEO. The
You say
thing, the
what?
difference, he's the CEO, right? He's not the person that owns that company.
Well, not. I'm not. It
So
doesn't matter if he
but he's no different.
honest.
Okay, so but he's no different than another person that gets a salary. He gets a huge salary, but at the end of the day, he's no different. You can change him out.
I've been
He
seeing a lot
doesn't
of people.
own United Healthcare.
Yeah,
Well,
he
what I'm
was
what
he
I'm
was promoted. Well, let me give you a little bit of context. He was promoted to be CEO of the insurance division in 2021. Okay.
Mm. So he was,
Also on top of that, there has now been a lot of people that's been publishing and putting out information, including the addresses of other CEOs that are in the insurance industry, and that's where it kind of gets dangerous. So, just wanted to give y'all a little bit of a insight.
hold on. Say that again, Anton. That last part.
People been putting out information, and that's just where I'm saying that it's kind of getting dangerous. People are putting out information on CEOs of other companies, and it's starting to turn into a kind of putting other people stuff in danger. So
and
Oh
they
So
were
wow.
basically,
being
they're doxing
investigated.
CEOs.
Go ahead.
No, I was just asking a question. I said, so basically, you're saying that he's doxing. I mean, people are doxing CEOs
yep.
Shit, they
instead
was
of
just killing
going to look
judges
for
a
the
few a
people.
few years ago, right? Weren't they just
Huh?
killing judges?
You said what?
Didn't a few judges get killed a few years ago?
I'm not sure.
I never heard of that. What's that?
I thought some judges had got killed a few years ago, like around the time of the pandemic.
Oh, it could be. I just might have missed it. I mean, but regardless, at the end of the day, it's a string of CEOs that are dying. Like it's literally almost every couple of months. And didn't like last month, was it Spirit?
I
The
don't know
CEO
about
of Spirit?
Spirit. No, I think he was just testifying before Congress, I
It was
believe.
or Bone, it was something, the CEO of one of those plane companies.
Oh, you
But
talking about the hits that was tied to? It wasn't the CEO. It was stuff that was tied to Boeing. That's what you was talking about.
but like so and then you have the Cash App guy.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with all of that. I have been reporting on that. I can't necessarily speak to specifically what happened or if I believe what was going on and stuff like that. But
Oh yeah, somebody in the chat said Spirit Airlines. Okay, I knew it was
I thought that was
something. But
Yeah,
Boeing, but I could be off.
and then though, don't forget now. Now I don't think this is tied to that, but remember they offed all them people that started Bitcoin. They offed everybody damn near. This shit getting
I
weird, man.
I
I don't know
can't
if this all
I
tie
can't
in, but
necessarily speculate about the why. I will say that Keri had made a great point about the conspiracy. I might even do a separate video on that. Kind of minding it out because I did see the CEO's video and I am familiar with the fact that they saying that they was living in two separate houses. Whatever, so on and so forth. So it could be tied to a lot of different things, right? But the one thing that does bother me about this is that the instincts behind or the overall sentiment is that people are supportive of him dying. There's a lot of people like the ratio to likes of comments that be inside of these comments of people are saying, "Yeah, man, that I don't feel sorry for him and all of this other stuff." That's weird to me. And maybe I'm just so far removed to where I'm not a hate watcher or I'm not a person that will wish death on anybody like that or whatever. And I don't know who's tied to what. And until I find out more information, I just have to reserve judgment on that front. And we could speculate and give our opinion, but for me, it's just weird to see people wishing death on other people that they don't even know.
that's because they're disgruntled in their own life. So and then you gotta remember the left, they push a lot of that, the rich are the reason why you're poor, right? So you gotta think a lot of people think like that.
Yeah.
So when you think you see somebody that's a CEO making millions from a healthcare company, they're like, oh, okay, well, he was rich. Who cares?
That's a weird thing, man. It's just a weird thing. So
But I would never. I don't really care who it is unless it's like egregious. Like like he's doing something egregious. Why
I
would
gotta agree
anybody wish
with Quinn
death
though.
on
Oh,
people like
sorry.
that? I just
I gotta agree with Quinn though that like the CEO is he's so far removed from actual claims getting denied, and I see somebody typing that
mm.
shit in the chat. Like he don't have nothing to do with that. Now other things, his hands aren't clean. It's other things that his hands aren't clean from. That shit still
like
don't mean
what
that
though? What would his hands not be
it
clean
still
from?
don't. Oh, I don't know in particular. You know what I'm saying? They do so much shit in that game, man. It's just a dirty game. You know what I'm
So
saying?
so are y'all saying
But
that
I'm not
there's
I'm not
only a
saying he should be killed at
no,
all.
I'm not saying that you're saying that. Are y'all basically saying that there's only a certain level that you can get to, or there's only a certain level that people should aspire to before they stop, so that they don't get involved or get corrupted by getting to a higher level, becoming a CEO or whatever, so on and so forth?
It depends on what business you in, though. You know what I'm saying? It depends on like, but I know for like with drugs and healthcare, I think that. I think that shit get kind of dirty, man.
I mean,
I
but the
really,
higher you go in any organization or government, you know more stuff, you learn more stuff, and so now you're, you know, you're tied to more things. Like, you ever notice that all the presidents go in looking like new money when they go in, and then they come out, their hair is gray and things like that. I'm pretty sure the stuff that they end up finding out that they didn't know when they were senators or whatever they were doing,
nah,
it's
I don't
very
agree.
it's very
They been
stressful.
new.
It's very
They,
stressful. And then you have to
well,
you
they
have to
been new
take
that
all of
though.
that in. I'm sorry.
I think they've been new. I think they've been new. Like when they were lower, lower on the totem pole, they knew things was shaky.
Because
I think
you know
politics
how
are.
Masonic works. It works the same exact way with government.
So y'all saying that I can't
No, no,
aspire to be
I think
the
politics is
CEO of a
different.
major. I can't aspire to be CEO of a major corporation.
No, no, no. See, so the thing is, I think it depends on what you're getting into. I don't think like everything is just like completely corrupted. I don't think everything is. Like it might be some tech companies, they mean well. You know what I'm saying? Now it depends on how I guess you could say aggressive or yeah, I guess aggressive is the word. On how they do their business, but I don't think everything is completely corrupt. I think certain avenues you go down though, you're gonna find some people that got their head chopped off because somebody wanted to do something.
So can I be the CEO of a major insurance company? Is that a bad dream for me?
But make sure the car
Uh,
insurance
I'm just
is.
asking.
You
what
just have
type of
I
to.
think this.
insurance?
I think this is
Car
wild.
insurance? I don't know.
I think
Car
you're. This
insurance
is
don't
wild
seem
that
like
you're asking.
What do you mean
you
it's
said
wild
what?
that I'm asking this?
Yeah, I think it's like what world do we live in that we have to worry about that?
Well, I'm asking it because it seems like everybody is basically saying that you can't get to certain levels without you basically being corrupt or corrupted.
So what does it look like for the CEO of a healthcare company, like for him to be up and like straight and arrow, like narrow and everything? Like what does that look like? Like what does he have to do to appease you guys who thinks that he's corrupt? Like what does that look like?
Who?
Anybody who thinks that like people are corrupt, like what should he be doing?
What are you talking about, Quinn? You
Well, you
talking
said
about the
he's
dude that killed?
yeah, like most people, like you make it seem like he's. You said that he had his hands in something. You didn't really say what it was, but you
No, no,
said he
no,
was
no,
in
no, no, no,
something.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. You gotta listen. You can't halfway listen. What I'm saying is, what he's into, you playing a dirty game. I'm not saying I never necessarily said his hands was dirty. I'm saying he's playing a dirty game, like he's involved and he's high up. So people gonna have an issue with it. It's gonna fall on him, regardless, because he's the face that people can see. Do you get what I'm saying now?
When I think about UnitedHealthcare, for example, or an insurance company, I think that people have a misunderstanding of how insurance works. And I'll give you an example, right? So, for example, let's take a Geico, right? Warren Buffett, part of how he made his fortune was investing in insurance companies, right? And you take an insurance company like a Geico or Progressive or whatever, and let's say, because I don't believe everybody when they say, oh man, they just denied my claim for no reason. I believe that in a lot of instances, um, the people deserve to have their claims denied. So let's take an insurance company like a car insurance company or something like that. I know people in my history who, when they got their claims denied, because I have never gotten a claim denied ever in healthcare or for a vehicle, they was finessing. And I'm not saying that that's everybody, but I know that people that were finessing. I know people that was trying to do insurance claims, like insurance fraud. I know people that was doing a lot of bullshit. I know people that had already crashed their car or they was, behind on their car note and then they made that bitch disappear. I know people that has done a lot of stuff, but then people by default automatically blame the insurance company in a lot of instances that deny they claim and then they create a grudge against them because they didn't help them finesse themselves out of money.
as as it pertains to health insurance, there's this guy that I follow on YouTube, and he's a doctor, and he said a lot of doctors are hamstrung about what they can do, fucking fighting with insurance companies.
Correct.
Well,
Well, I will say, as the person who handles all of the medical stuff for my kids and for my husband and for myself, and has been through three different insurance companies just being down here in North Carolina alone, I have had many of days, hours. In fact, there was one point in time I literally documented this process that I had to go through with going back and forth with the insurance company, between the specialists that we were using, going back and forth where claims were absolutely denied, and ultimately I won. I ended up having to go before a board of doctors and all that stuff. There was a big issue with the doctor that we used for my daughter, who the insurance company gave me a list of approved physicians.
Mhm.
We had a procedure, and I had to pay up front because it was taking so long, and we had to get the procedure done. So I was supposed to get, refunded on the back end. And it was stated that because the doctor performed the procedure at another hospital as opposed to the other two hospitals that's on that doctor's list, that it wouldn't be covered. But I had already cleared it with the insurance company all the way up to the procedure for it to be covered. I literally went back and forth with them from like December, and it got approved finally in February. And
Mhm.
that's just one situation. And I will say this, there have been plenty of times during all of these moments where I totally could understand a person who is not able to like maintain their cool emotionally would have,
Mhm.
one, not only flipped out on the people they were talking to, because here's the other thing. You call the number, you got to get to somebody. Everybody wants to know your story before they really connect you to who can help you. So by the time you talk to the person who can help you, you told your story to about four people. You've been on hold for 50,000 hours. So there's a lot of emotional control, for real, that you got to have, especially depending on what your actual health issue is. I'm not saying I'm justifying anybody going crazy and killing anybody,
Yep.
but I can see where someone would connect it to the point where it makes them upset. And once you get to a point like that, I would think your common sense is out the window. So to your point, Quentin, and your point, Slimmy, sure, he's not the one who's approving stuff, but at the same time, all you might see is him, or all you see are the people who are protesting, and then you see him, and then you look up how much he's worth or whatever. Now that
Yeah,
said,
that's what I
i
said.
don't think I don't think any of this is the case, and the more that I keep looking and thinking about it, I think what's happening is exactly what was designed. It's designed for us to get thrown off guard and focus on these disgruntled people. And I really think that it has way more to do with corporate level.
that's exactly what I said.
I'm curious of knowing what the board of directors relationship was with him. I'm curious in knowing what philosophy he brought to the table a few years ago. He was a Democrat, and I'm not saying he's a Democrat, so his view is crazy. But I don't know. Maybe there were opposing views. Maybe he came in with a different set of ideas. Maybe because the administration is changing, things were happening. They were already being investigated by the Department of Justice
Yep.
for what, like trying to have a monopoly on the market, for squeezing competitors out. So for all we know, maybe this CEO is trying to come in and make changes, and they're like, nah, we're not going to do
But
that.
there,
At the
but there,
same
that
at the same
that's point
time, hold on.
blank.
At the same time, they also know that they do have to address these protesters. They do have to do something. And maybe in their eyes, they're like, all right, we got to make a move that will keep these people at bay, but still allow us to move how we move. Let's get rid of, whatever. So I personally think that this is much higher. I think it has less to do with the people who are upset and more to do with the people who get money going into their pockets off of the success of United Healthcare.
Mm.
Okay. When Anton asked me right after you, right? I literally said, we are worried about the protesters. That's an easy fit. It's an easy fit to put that right there because you can hide behind that. That happens all the time. In corruption, that happens all the time. Like, I don't even know much about this case, but just from what you guys were talking about, that's what I got out of that.
Mm.
Yeah, somebody said follow the money. That's what I would do.
It happens all the time. And then you got to remember, okay, so everybody's disgruntled. But what is the CEO guy doing? And then he said he was going to one of those meetings to do
He was going
exactly that.
he was going
So
Yep.
it's
We don't know what he
easy
was going
to
to
keep
say.
hiding behind, and that's why I said it's easy to hide behind people that are mad. It's an easy fit.
Yep. In fact, the
Hmm.
wife, so okay, so you have the words carved on the shell casings, and
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
wife
say that's
made it
hard.
her business to say that not only was he receiving these threats, but I believe he was receiving these threats
Hmm.
from these people because of this. And she used some of the words. I forget what the words were that they put on the casing, but she used some of the words. So again, if I put on my blacklist hat, then
Mm.
these would be some of the things that you would have in your plan to make it believable. So it's just really hard. It's really hard to not look at it from that angle.
I feel you. I like that. I think that was beautifully put. Absolutely. Anybody else got something else? See, this is
No,
this
I
is what
just
I was.
I
Keri
have to
said,
mute
go
my
ahead.
I can't listen to the conversation because I have to put my speakers when Keri talk because the stuff is fucking with my
I
sensory.
hate you, Quentin. I'm trying.
Nah, she was. I mean, she. Nah, I ain't hear nothing. I know she was cooking, so I got to give credit where credit
That
is
makes
due.
me sad.
I don't know what you talking about. She was cooking just fine. Um, damn, Carrie, that's why I went to you. You know what I'm saying?